I'm just peeking at the new name so I can do it.
Oh,
Before we go on, I baked a special batch of cookies.
And packaged them well.
Did that take you all day?
Yeah.
consistent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. This is the City Services and Quality of Life Committee of Manhattan Community Board 5. My name is Tiffany Revis, and I'm Service Chair. We have one item on the agenda tonight. We're gonna have a presentation from the Department of Sanitation in regards to the commercial waste zoning. And then we'll follow into committee business. We do have some members of the community here that have come to speak. So I'm going to open up to the public for comment. And then we'll go into our meeting. So we have a few people from the public here that wanted to speak on behalf of living situations and where they are. So you guys, you can talk, it should be able to hear.
Sure.
Introduce yourselves and
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine Tronzo.
Could you stand up so we can hear you?
Sure.
oh, thank you.
Yep, my name's Catherine Tronzo. I live at 255 West 43rd Street in the former Times Square Hotel, now the Times Square, owned by Breaking Ground. It's a building of 652 tenants, and I'm the co-chair of the Tenants Association in the building. And we unfortunately have been experiencing decreasing services in the building, both in terms of the management of the building. So we're dealing with like unsanitary conditions, filth piling up in the hallways. A lot of us are finding human waste in the hallways. A decline in security services. So the front gate of the building that should be a barrier to the outside world is completely broken. It's stuck wide open. Anyone can and does walk right in. We've taken videos of people who have never been to the building before. We've basically invited them to test the system and they've been able to walk right in without being stopped. And in addition to the decreasing management services in the building, we're also experiencing a severe mismatch between the folks that are being housed in the building, who are referred by various social service agencies, specifically DHS, HACA, and DOHMH. We are finding that the severity and the acuity of their mental illness is often beyond what the on-site social work staff can handle. So as a result, we're experiencing severely disruptive behaviors, a lot of violent outbursts, and a lot of police activity. We have, on average, the past couple of years, we've had, I found this data on NYC Open Data, we've had about 50 to 80 arrests per year in the building, and about 100 to 120 police incident reports taken in the building. We've had assaults, we've had a lot of problems with overdoses, and it's basically just become an environment that Sandra, my neighbor who's here, and Diana, my neighbor who's here, remember a time, because they've been at the building a lot longer than me. I've been at the building just under 10 years, but they're going on 20 some years. They remember a time when things were great. There was a genuinely supportive environment, both for low-income New Yorkers and also for folks who do need the on-site mental health services. But unfortunately, in recent years, things have really declined severely. And we have a lot of questions, but my question really is all of these agencies that are funding Breaking Ground to the tune of, I think it was $80 million they got last year from these agencies. I found that on their IRS 990. How are they allowing this? Like, aren't they coming in and like supervising and making sure that we're getting the services that they're paying so much money for? I don't want to take up your whole evening, so I'll stop there, and I don't know if Diana and Sandra would also like to comment.
Sure. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Okay, hi, my name is Sandra Carver, and I've been there for 30 years. And yes, she's absolutely right. The decrease in the building is phenomenal. That it used to be a great place you would be happy to go to, and now it's like you're, always watching over your shoulder. And my biggest problem is with the water quality. It seems to be, from my observation, it's on the east side of the building. The water is awful, and there are people that are buying bottled water to bathe in, to cook with, and the water is, they've been making calls since 2020 to 311. And the only thing that they did was they checked the water on the outside. They checked the water outside of the building, but they never checked it inside the building. When I spoke to them about it, and he said, oh, it's not necessary, it's fine. That's management's answer to everything. So we're not getting what we should be getting. We're not being treated properly. There are working people there. There are people that don't need special services, and we don't get treated any differently than the other ones that do not belong there. They belong in, places with people with a, medical license. And the caseworkers are not qualified for that. But my biggest issue is the water quality in the building. And it seems to be on the east side of the building. So people have made complaints. We have pictures of it, and we have all the case numbers from 311. So all the documentation is there. It's just that they're not doing anything about it. The building refuses to comply with our concerns. So, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I wanna address the water issue because I got cancer during COVID, and it's like unlikely, like how did I get cancer? And then I found out some employees that got cancer and died as well. And some tenants have died of cancer. So I bought my cat a cat bowl recently, a white one. It's brown. I bought floor mats from Target, they're brown. I realized that I've been in the building since 1995 when Roseanne had acquired the building, got funding from, I believe, Chase Bank, and it wasn't called supportive house. I only found out in 2019 that it was called supportive housing. So I'm one of there's 5 classification of people that are supposed to be there. People from the arts that live in the community, AIDS, low income working, mentally ill, and then seniors. We don't know what's going on. We really don't. We all agree, the 3 of us, that when we moved into the building, we went through 3 interviews, and we agreed to live with people that have mental illness, and how would we handle it? It seems like, and you could not get in this building unless you went through the shelter system, which meant you were there at least 3 months, that integrated you back into society. When COVID started, I have a whole bunch of friends that friendly as an acquaintance neighbors, because they built it as a community. It's a $50 million building that is trashed. I woke up this morning, a flood at the end of my hallway. Like, things are going on. My neighbors, literally, there's 2 of them that use the recycle room for the bathroom. And I've seen it. I have a video of the guy and they locked themselves in there. It's like they're smoking all over the floors. They have what they call they're red boxes for overdoses. Right? They're all broken.
The Narcan.
Yeah, Narcan.
Yeah, they're called emergency overdose containers, right? Either they're broken, they're damaged. I saw one this morning where the contents are broken open, which is supposed to be a health issue. And when the elevators open, there's cigarette butts. There's no smoking in the building. And the gate, so I'm one of the few tenants that went to CCUS, which is the supportive services supposed to be volunteer. And I asked them for my case notes. I believe the swiping into the building has one purpose and one purpose only: to track the tenants. Because when you are part of the Department of Homeless Services and Hospital, you must prove that you're in that apartment every night. So what they're using that swiping for, why they don't care about this, that handicap entrance that also is with the guests and it's the one that's broken, is because they get paid money for every tenant that lives there and they check our swipes. And that's why swiping for tenants is mandatory, but not for people that are walking in the building and for the staff that come in. And it was the staff that were not swiping where the tenants developed that habit of not wanting to swipe. And every time we're meeting with them, you guys gotta swipe, you gotta swipe. So I got my case notes and found I wasn't even a client of CCUS. They created a file with a different name. And every month, the case manager went to see if when I was swiping into the building, meaning they billed the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene, HOSCA, and the Department of Homeless Services, which I didn't come through for monitoring me. I got 35 years of case notes going monitoring. For what? I never received anything. They're using it to track us in the building only.
Fair enough. Thank you. I think, Candice, who's on the.
Yes, I'll go to those
Yeah.
online. Yes, thank you so much. I'm gonna go in order though. Charles, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and speak. Charles?
Hello, yes, thank you. Sorry, it takes a little while for me to use my talking computer to unmute, but thank you for your patience. I originally was going to talk about something different, but I wanted to chime in because I'm also a breaking ground tenant, but in a different building, the Prince George. And, it's important, I think, for me to mention that our building's going through the same issues that these members of the public have spoken about. So I just want to say, cameras not working, security cameras not working, no security cameras in the trash rooms. And we've also had people use the recycling room as a bathroom or just dropping food everywhere, which actually increases rats and cockroaches and flies. We actually have some fly catchers actually installed in the hallways just recently, but they're not near the recycle room, they're more near the elevators. We had a security guard get shot outside our building, which was very alarming, very distressing to a lot of our tenants. And again, there's a problem with the security company Allied, who don't check IDs properly, don't check people properly, people who can't look after their pets properly, dogs barking and things like that. And I think it's important to raise these issues because we know that Breaking Ground is opening a new building in the Stewart Hotel in Midtown, somewhere, I think on 6th Avenue and 30-something Street. And I really think it'd be great to try to get them into, especially to this committee, to address these things because, we try to have tenant meetings and it goes nowhere. And we just get lip service all the time. And also washing machines that don't work properly and laundry carts that go missing. So it's just, it's meant to be supportive housing and doesn't feel very supportive. And also I forgot to mention work orders that take years to be completed. So I just wanted to back what these other tenants are saying. And I'm really pleased to hear people from other buildings speaking up and coming to the community board, which is great. And it's horrible what they're going through. But again, I thought I would chime in since, it's very similar to what other tenants in my building are going through, just to let this committee know that it's happening in other buildings too. And also that I was not aware that these tenants from the Times Square would be speaking today. So I just wanted to let you know.
Comment. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I just mentioning, just so
Okay.
that, so that's coincidental. All right then,
Sure.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. Candace, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, sorry about that. I only have a few minutes to speak.
Yeah.
I'm at work. Can you see me?
We don't see you, but we hear you, so that's fine.
That's weird. Oh, okay. Anyway, so basically today I was getting my mail and there was a man walking around on the mezzanine just throwing things down and banging things. And he threw down like this like leather bookshelf type thing, literally 2 feet away from me. Literally 2 feet away from me. They don't know what was going on with him. They're letting in there's also another woman who lives on my floor. She screams at the top of her lungs late at night. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Last night, she was screaming at the top of her lungs. James told me to write down all the dates and times. I've emailed him. Nothing happens. There's also another tenant who apparently on the 4th floor who set his room on fire, and also ran out the hall naked. And I've seen him several times threatening people. He almost like attacks this older lady on the elevator. Luckily, there was a man on the elevator with us and he was kind of backed him off. But he's just out of his mind and they're letting so many of these people in. I spoke to one of the social workers and she told me that they're all afraid and that they don't have what it takes to deal with those people because they need psychiatric nurses and doctors and medication and they cannot handle them. She has a baseball bat in her office for protection. She said one day, one of the tenants bashed in her coworker's door, threatening her coworker. I mean, it's just crazy over here. I found feces in the recycling closet and adult diaper. Like, I think that they're taking these people in, but they're not teaching them how to reacclimate into society. And they also don't have people working there who can deal with them. There are people who come on the elevators with urine and feces in their pants. You can smell it. They're just walking around. They haven't showered in literally over a year. It's, and that is because they've lost some type of touch with reality and with knowing how to survive among civil society. And when you've been on the street for a long time, psychological things happen to you, break down, and you need to be able to be back up and by a psych professional, and they're not. And it's also just, the main thing is it's very scary because some of them are dangerous. Some of them are dangerous. Like that man could have seriously hurt me today. He could have seen, I was literally 2 feet away from where the thing fell down. And I've been in the elevator again with that other guy who was about to, hurt the older lady. I mean, it's just something needs to be done about them allowing. I've lived in the building for 21 years. And before when I lived there, it was like people coming off of homelessness and mild mental illnesses, and everyone had a caseworker. And the caseworkers worked really closely with those people with those issues. Now it's like they don't care. Like I don't think the caseworker, they're really assigning the caseworkers that way anymore. It's just a free for all and it's very dangerous. And it needs to stop. They need to stop letting these people in. It's because it's dangerous.
Thank you, Candace. We are taking all these notes and appreciate you speaking up for you and your and you and those in your building. Next we'll go to Tamara Ortiz. If we could just kind of stay on the 2-minute limit of speaking, please. So we don't hold up some of the other parts of the meeting, but we'd love to hear anything you have to say.
Can you see me all?
No, we hear you.
I don't know how to show, I don't
That's
know how to turn on my camera. I made a mistake. My name is Maria Ortiz. I wish you could see me all. I don't like being off camera. So I live in CB4. I also work in CB4. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I work at Ryan Health, born and raised in Chelsea and Hell's Kitchen. And I am co-chair of Housing, Health, and Human Services on Manhattan Community Board 4. And I just wanted to come and share very briefly that actually, earlier this month for our June meeting, in new and old business, actually Catherine and someone else from another building in our district came and spoke about the conditions there. Ultimately, what the committee did was, actually, we didn't even have quorum, but by consensus, the committee voted to write a letter actually to collaborate with you all, CB5, because we've been in talks already. I've been in talks with Melissa and Marisa regarding this site, the Times Square, because it does impact our district. And being that we're all, in City Council District 3 under Carl Wilson, it makes sense that we can collaborate together to address the situation. So the committee voted to write a letter to collaborate with you all, as well as to collaborate with executive leadership at Breaking Ground and CUCS, who provides a social services component. And I just wanted to give you all a heads up about that if you weren't already aware.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we are aware, and that's one thing we wanted to comment on today is that we are going to be working with CB4 as well. This is a much larger issue as we all know. And so but we'll be working on this with CB4 as well. And we have received your letter.
Okay.
So thank you for that.
You already received our draft?
I believe so. Marisa, isn't that what we got?
I didn't circulate it because. it's a
Oh,
draft,
okay.
so.
So I'm sorry. It was probably something else that I've gotten so far, but it's
Oh.
about to be in circulation to us. So
Just quick question. Who are the co-chairs? Just because now that I can see your faces, I'm curious.
well, now I'll just have to announce it. I'm chair, but I'm stepping down after today. So I've been chair of the committee for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Melissa, who was on virtually, she is going to step up from vice chair into the chair position.
Okay.
And Yaron Noni Victor, who is first chair of the board, is going to be stepping into the vice chair role as an intern. An
Oh,
interim.
okay. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Next, Michael, you can unmute yourself and speak, please.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, this is Mike. I'm also at 255 West 43rd Street, Breaking Ground. Everything you've heard, I've been there for 15 years. It's true. I want to add, I'm 6 foot, 190 pounds. And I know if I feel uneasy every day I'm entering and leaving the building, that women and especially older people have to feel very uneasy. That guy that Candace spoke about on the 4th floor, I'm on the 4th floor. It's probably the same guy that almost walked into my room one day, my apartment, and I lost it. I had enough. I called downstairs. I called them every name in the book. I threatened him. He was so high out of his mind, he didn't even know he was walking into my apartment. And nothing was done about it. I complained to everybody. We have a drug dealer on our floor that's it's been openly doing it. And it's the same thing that you're hearing. Everybody we report, we email, we tell them in person. And at this point, I don't know what else to do. I know something bad is going to happen. Several things have already happened, but I think until something catastrophic happens, nobody's going to do anything about it. I've been there for 15 years, and these last 5 years have been incredible. So anything you could do to help, please.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. And we have Faith. You can unmute yourself and speak. Faith?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we do.
I want to double, triple down on the things that Candace said and the things that Michael just said. There used to be a woman here completely crazed all the time on crack, including with violence against me. She beat me up really bad, broke a $200 phone that she grabbed out of my hand. And then the police watched her drop crack out of her pocket when they arrested her. It took me 4 years to get her out of here, including battling her legal aid and the guy Rokiki, who's now the building manager for all the building operator. He promoted himself to VP based on that. We have another guy down the hall who screams at all hours of the day and night. Catherine says he's a nice guy, and he clearly has what appear to be schizophrenic episodes where, he's in his room just screaming. The police come, he tells them he's on the phone. We have to call him a second time. So, you have broken sleep 2 hours during the night from 3 to 5, just while he's screaming, waking everybody up. You can hear him across 2 or 3 corridors. The people peeing in the and pooping in the elevators. The bottom line is that there's a drug dealer in 1225. All the tenants there that try to live across from there move out because he's got so many customers. The drug dealer's customers mistakenly knock on my door in the middle of the night. Happened last week. That's on a regular basis. The dealers and the severely mentally ill who aren't screened properly for what this building's supposed to be independent living. All right. So they're supposed to be at a level where they can live independently. And the people they've been bringing in clearly aren't. There's one wrinkle that nobody's mentioned, which is that, and one's been here 15 years, another 21. I've been here too long. The social workers used to be assigned to clients on the same floor. So when you had a problem neighbor, you could at least make a verbal in person or a written record to a social worker that you could identify. I pulled heaven and earth just to try and find out which social worker buried under locked doors in the mezzanine counsels the screamer in 1228 down the hall from me, that I just described. And, he doesn't even return voicemails. The head of CUCS for this building, Holloway, threatened me when, I tried to ask management to stop. They want to coddle these guys or ignore them. And it's exactly what Candace said. Whether they admit it or not, it's way beyond the capabilities for CUCS to manage. So those people at CUCS are basically here employed on a welfare system. And while I think maintenance is good, other people have had problems. I have over time developed a good working relationship. And so, I don't have those other problems that people have, but it's just ungodly the amount of severely mentally ill, incapable of living independently, drug dealers and drug users. And the landlord just said, oh, there's nothing we can do. And then CUCS is the black hole. When you tell the landlord, and it's the operator here now is James Patterson, look, you got to crack down with CUCS. He says, well, I meet with them weekly. And I'm like, you obviously don't tell them anything because nothing changes. And quite honestly, the landlord's employees behave as if they're captive of CUCS. If you talk to any of the decent allied guards here, Mr. Roberts or Michelle, they will tell you flat out the same thing I'm about to tell you, which is the guards call CUCS and it's like the black hole of voicemail. No one responds, nobody returns that. And then when we make more security complaints, it lands at the black hole of this security fire safety guy in the room who just, passes along a watered down list of items to Patterson, who does nothing. It's, as Michael said, I'm over 65 and I'm a woman and I'm 5'2". It's scary as hell. I barely go in and out anymore because between the drug addicts and the crazies, it's scary just to wait at the elevator or use the elevator or the lobby. It wasn't this way before. They had a library in what is now a social worker's office. The social workers really do nothing but take welfare checks and jam the elevators. And I'm beyond incredulous at how the city keeps funding this. I just don't know. Everybody's got a drug dealer on their floor and crazy screaming through the night. It's not just the fourth floor. It's not just 12. 8 is really badly riddled with that stuff. And that's what I have to say. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know,
thank
why
you,
there's
David.
such inaction. Section 8 can't do anything. And there's nobody to go to. It's just talk. You talk to people and nothing changes.
Thank you. We really appreciate all of you guys for coming in today and speaking and letting us know of the issues. Encourage you to continue emailing the board office with this information. We are working on things as we can potentially, the best we can as a community board to help with some policy changes. Going to start working on that this summer, fall. We are going to collaborate with CB4 as well and try to do what we can to assist in all these issues that you guys are dealing with. So
One idea that was suggested was a letter.
yes,
That would be
yes. Oh
authored
yeah,
by-
that's already, yeah.
That's in the works.
Yeah, that's already in the
Okay,
works.
Great,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah,
so
we're
much
just not
for
doing that at today's meeting, but we're getting everything in the works of
I really-
writing a
we really
support letter with
appreciate
CB4.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're very sorry for all the things that you guys are dealing with, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We go to business discussion,
Yes.
session and discuss this?
We're not doing a letter today.
Can we just like address and have Marissa give us guidance as to what we can do here?
We're already in the works of it. And
We can go to
Ron's
business
already.
have a discussion about this or?
Madam Chair.
Oh. Okay, one moment. Thank you for the public comment. We do have wonderful agenda people waiting that we really need to be conscientious of their time.
There-
So we can go into, when we speak about new business, I'll let one comment, but we cannot let the wonderful people who've taken time out of the night to
They're
present. to
city,
us and
they're
then
city
leave.
workers.
and
They
then
can
leave to
wait a
present.
moment. They can wait a moment. These
Yes.
people have come with some very serious grievances. And I think his request is very reasonable. That's a lot to take in
It is.
and we should be able to process it a little bit.
Sure, and we're not saying we're not doing that. I'm just.
You're
this is-
telling us to now defer to a city
No,
presentation
that's-
before we
Thank you,
do
Kevin.
it.
Thank you. That's actually not what I'm doing. I would like this to be a discussion that we can have in length if it's needed. And so I will be going to that next, and then we will go into the business section. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. We really do appreciate that.
Can I ask them
Mm.
one quick question?
Sure.
So you said that in the years past, things were fine
Mhm.
and they've changed.
Yeah.
What specifically do you think is the cause of that change?
Yeah, we ask ourselves that all the time, and I don't wanna presume to know the answer, but what I can just tell you what I've seen and what we've all seen, which is it's two things happening at once. It's a big change in the people who they're letting in. So whereas, like some people said, in the past, you might see someone talking to themselves in the elevator, no problem, whatever. Now you're seeing aggressive, violent behavior, people injecting themselves in overdoses in the hallways. You know, the tenant behavior has just gotten out of control. That's number one. And number two, simultaneously, management's ability to keep up the building, just basic stuff like housekeeping, keeping the front desk open so we can get our packages, the security gate, the security guards not doing patrols through the building like they used to. So like all the management services decreasing at the same time, the tenant population having these really severe needs and behaviors.
And how long has Breaking Ground been?
They've been since the beginning. They used to be under a different name, Common Ground, and then they changed their name at one point.
We've had more stringent management though. At one time, we had management that actually would walk through the building and see what the issues were. Now they're undercover.
We did write a letter to Brenda Rosen, the chairperson and CEO of Breaking Ground, whose annual salary is just under $700,000 a year. And it's a nonprofit. We asked her, would you please come to our building and just walk around, just walk the hallway, see the things that we're seeing and just talk to us. And she declined. She refused to come and meet with us.
It's their building.
David.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda with a majority vote.
Second.
I would like to discuss this in a brief 10-minute conversation about what are the actions that we can do on this board. Should we take a vote?
Just a moment, I'm just counting, David, thank you. We have exact quorum, which is 10. Chris. Aaron,
Oh, yeah,
did I say it
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I heard, yeah, yes.
Is Natalie, Chris Bell, Julie, Alice, Brady, Tom,
Yes.
Michael Kavak.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Will,
Yep.
David,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and Pearl.
And so we're going to business section.
Okay, so we're gonna go to business session now, so this is just for us to, you guys are welcome to stay and listen and whatnot, okay?
But let's make it
Uh,
very.
Tiffany, would
Yeah.
it be helpful for me to share some of what Yaron and I have been chatting about?
Yeah, if you can, so. This isn't being dismissed whatsoever. It's actually in process of a lot of us, in the leadership roles discussing and talking with CB4 already. Also, I'm stepping down as of today and Melissa's coming in, so some of the things are crossing us right at this moment. But they're all being addressed, so I'm gonna let Melissa speak because her and Yaron have started some work on this as well. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear that everyone, I think, on the committee recognizes this is a really significant issue. To just step back for a minute, a little bit of context and perspective on how we are thinking about this committee and priorities and ways that we can really take action and use our voice as the board moving forward. We are trying to focus more on particular priority areas where we understand that policy in implementation may have an actual different impact than was either intended or in practice, there may be pain points and concerns and needs that are kind of arising from policy in action. So reflecting on that, reflecting on where the board is most effective, which is really in advocating for policy versus where the office is effective. And so this is maybe a helpful refresher for existing members and kind of a good distinction for new members as well. Within the board, we, again, are really effective at advocating for policy. The office really helps address kind of day-to-day and takes the lead in addressing these constituent concerns, concerns and needs around specific operators, so some of the things that we heard today as well, and kind of enforcement. So the board has been really aware of these concerns, these issues, these needs, and given both that and concerns that we've heard from CB4 and from these operators over time, we recognize this as a really priority area and wanted to propose this and have this planned to sort of unfold over the next few meetings as an area where we as a board, as a committee, really want to take action. So the plan that we had put together was to spend the next meeting understanding first the policy that we believe may have impacted this. So hearing from some of the folks today and that question that was raised, I think, really thoughtfully around, what might have caused this, a change in the way that residents are coming into these residences. So some of the housing first policy, let's spend the next meeting really understanding what the policy is, hearing from the Department of Social Services, what is the policy, educating ourselves on that, and then moving into our next meeting and through kind of a forum, through work that we're doing with CB4 and collaboration there, understanding and hearing from the providers themselves and the operators, some of what we already heard today. What is the actual impact of this policy? What have the changes been in terms of their ways of operating? What is the impact on tenant lives? So all this to say, this is a priority area. The way that we were thinking about actually addressing it is ultimately with a resolution that we do want to move towards. And the kind of tangible actions that we move forward is in the next meeting, understanding and educating ourselves as a committee on the policy itself. And then again, hearing from and actually pulling together all of these providers and different perspectives so we can hear more of what we heard today, and then ultimately driving towards a resolution, which is what would come out of this committee moving forward. And that sort of model is what we'd like to take this committee, and the way that we'd like to prioritize priority areas moving forward is really action oriented and action first in terms of using our voice as an advocacy or within advocacy.
Yes.
So I'm happy to take any questions, thoughts.
And this was to be discussed in our new business first night as well. We don't have an August meeting, so our next meeting is August 19th. Is that?
The last week of August.
I think 26th, but if you, I just want to welcome you guys to that this week. Sure will.
Yeah, I mean, that, that all sounds great and a thoughtful way to look at it. At the same time, what these folks are dealing with, I mean, they need this to be dealt with today, right? Or tomorrow. And so, I mean, I think we should have that process, but like, we have another full board meeting in 2 weeks and then we're off for like a month. So I think we should discuss like, who can we alert right now, which elected, you know, we can discuss what to do, but which elected officials can we contact right now? Can we contact people at Breaking Ground? Because I don't think this is something we can put off for a month, 2 months. I mean, this is a severe, exactly. This is a severe issue, and I think our elected officials would want to know that their constituents are suffering in a lot of people all having the same issues, so.
Marissa, were you gonna say something?
I'll wait for the chair.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Marissa. Yes, go ahead. Yes, thank you.
Other people run it.
Yes, I'm not. It's my meeting. Thank you.
So I just want to assure everybody that elected officials have been notified. The board office has met with Breaking Ground. We have reached out to the city. We have been actively pursuing the city agencies that oversee supportive housing buildings. That process has started. And that is ongoing and it will be very active over the summer. You know, we've been talking with Councilmember Wilson's office. They have reached out to CUCS. They're reaching out to Breaking Ground. So just on the basic sort of everyday horrors that have been described, the board office is doing what we can to try to deal with that. So I don't want anyone to think that this is all on just some hiatus until the end of August. It absolutely isn't. We've been actually dealing with it for several months, you know, when we first heard from Catherine. So, you know, we've been working on this. The city is slow. Takes a while for them to get back. They're, you know, HPD is looking at this carefully. We've asked them to come to the tenant association and speak with them directly. So all that is in motion and we'll see how that, you know, we'll stay on top of it. We'll keep on it. We'll keep applying the pressure, but I don't want anyone to think that we're not addressing the day-to-day concerns. I think what Melissa was referring to and what Tiffany is referring to is the overarching policy issues that have led to what's happening through Breaking Ground and other supportive housing providers. This is a severely under-resourced housing first policy. So, you know, that's where the board advocacy, I think, can be effective. So just to assure everybody that that's some context for what's happening day to day.
Thank you for clarifying that, Marissa. Melissa, do you want to comment anymore?
I think just to reiterate what Marissa has already kind of outlined is that our focus would really be on that policy piece, is understanding what are the levers that are kind of causing this, and how can we be really targeted in terms of the perspective that we're sharing on that as it relates to this housing first policy.
Any other, David?
Hi. So, I guess this is a question for Marissa. Is there anything that we can do today that would help speed up the process? I understand that the city works very slow. I understand the way that we want to take the approach that we want to do, have an education first and then go through a process of interviewing folks and then doing that, which is inevitably going to take some time. Is there something that we can do today that will help you move things along?
Not to minimize the board, but honestly, I don't think so. I mean, you know, we have scheduled a meeting with the Councilmember Wilson, who just won his primary. And so, you know, all that was sort of up in the air for a while, so he can really dig in now. And his office is now engaged. I actually think he will be a really important factor in getting the city to kind of move forward on some of these issues. So I don't think there needs to be, you know, a rush for the full board to do something that will have a huge impact over the summer, to be honest.
But the ongoing of communication with the services and everything is ongoing and continuous.
Can I just quickly follow? Is it possible for us to condense the timeline that you've suggested and bring the Breaking Ground folks in for our next committee meeting?
You know, I think, if you're speaking to me, I was gonna say, I think that Melissa and, Iran are coordinating with CB4 to bring all the actors together and hear from everybody. You know, the operators, the tenants, perhaps some mental health professionals, to kind of figure out how we can be effective, what they need from us, what would be helpful. So
And that's work that's gonna be not taking a hiatus. That's work that continues while the board itself is on break.
yeah,
The
I
meetings
mean,
are on break.
you know, I think your chairs can keep you informed over the summer of, you know, what's being planned. Whatever cooperative actions are being planned, and so if something arises over the summer where, you know, some action is required, then there's always the ability to call emergency meetings. You know, if you're willing to meet over the summer, we can always do that.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, this is probably doesn't have to do specifically with our board, but I feel like another thing that should be happening is this should be written about by journalists, you know, this should be in the press. And so the extent that people have connections in the press, like maybe it's not the New York Times, but a local paper should be writing about this, you know, this shouldn't be. I feel like that's one thing where the one way you get people to move faster, you know, as it's gonna put a fire under them. So that's something to think about if people have ideas on how to make that happen.
Has the building gone to the press at all?
We have, and there's an article about us in West 42nd Street, you know, w42st.com, about 23 of us came together and we have filed a lawsuit in housing court, both for repairs and harassment. So that's ongoing. So the article covered that issue, but we haven't gotten press about the issue of the mental health needs that are so extreme.
David, I'm sorry, Chris. Chris, you're first.
Okay, so the piece that and I'm kind of putting this out there and I'm not quite sure how to get it, but especially from what we've heard from the constituents who came today, I just want to say thank you for coming and sharing. Really brave, really hard. I've worked my entire career in nonprofit management, so this is a little bit more my neck of the woods. Government contracting is extremely complex and difficult. And it seems to me, especially based on what we've heard today and the notes that I've taken, that's what I think that I would like to look more deeply into the contracts that they are receiving for this. I have their 990 up and I'm looking at it right now. But I think that there's a lot of information that we can parse out over this timeline as we're trying to bring these people in that can give us a map forward as to what we should be asking of them, especially because it's clear from the observations and the witnesses that we've heard from that the things in which they are purporting to do and delivering services upon, what they're saying and what is actually happening are very, very far apart. And contractually, that doesn't fly. That especially doesn't fly in public government contracts. So if we can get to the bottom of where those separations are, I think that will also help us in terms of what Melissa was talking about in regards to policy. So I think the more that we can, as a committee, try and get more of that information about the contracts that they have with the city, the better we can be informed to have difficult conversations with Breaking Ground and whoever comes to future meetings.
Left.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, I said that, sorry.
That's okay, Kevin. It's okay. Think about it. just a point of information, when will the video of this meeting be available on our website?
Immediately, right?
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
next day.
it live
live
streams, so it's
streams.
on YouTube and
Yeah.
then it goes up almost immediately,
Thank
but
you.
Yeah.
It's
certainly
within the
tomorrow
thing.
morning.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
As
As soon as the stream ends, it
Yeah.
posts.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
TMZ will be talking about you later.
That's why you're wearing a suit, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So Melissa, do you want to say anything else about this, like what you and Your Honor are going to be kind of working on and how maybe you want some of us members to be in contact with either ways to help or suggestions? You know, some like everybody has a different skill set that maybe they can offer and provide during trying to get this going.
Yeah, so we just kicked off planning around the next few meetings, I think, based on this conversation and kind of some of the work that we had already in flight. I think on my end, what I'm happy to do is inform everyone of where planning is and how we move things forward. So to the point that Maurice had brought up around kind of convening all of these different perspectives, that's where we'd like to and have time that we are scheduling with CB4 in July to talk about pulling together a forum or potentially pulling these folks together for discussion. At each step, I'm happy to keep this committee updated, whether that's something that you want to be involved in from a planning perspective or just want to be aware of. And then obviously, whenever that forum happens, obviously letting folks know when that's happening and making everyone aware of kind of the planning as it's going. That is happening in parallel with the meetings that are going to happen in September. And ideally in October, we would have a letter, you know, at that point that we would be voting on over the next 2 meetings. And then the other thing I think based on this discussion that would be really helpful is any areas, to Chris's point, where you would like to be more educated or that we can help prioritize for the next meeting so that we can have that discussion as soon as possible, along with understanding the policy, which is kind of where we've heard that a lot of this is stemming from. Not only the policy, but kind of any other perspectives, whether you want to step up and kind of weigh in on and provide some of that education or dig into an area and provide that to the committee. I think happy to have folks raise hands to do that, but also feel free to reach out if it's just a question that you have and you'd like to learn more about it. And we can see how we can kind of collectively provide that information so that we can do that kind of getting up to speed in education as soon as possible in the next meeting.
Which is August. Right?
Yes, August for the September cycle.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that time frame. Anybody else? Okay, all right, so we'll end our business section for now. And again, thank you all. We really hope that we can help in any way that we can. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to our one item on the agenda, which we have, is she here? I'm not sure if she's still
Just a
here.
quick question.
Okay, please, before, yes.
But community 4 and community
Yes.
Ward 5, both, but this building is in our community.
It is, but they also have,
They have
are
the
having,
same-
it's not, unfortunately,
Everybody.
sincerely, unfortunately, it's so many of these housings are having this. That's why I said it's such a larger thing that we're trying to join together as community boards to try to make the biggest voice and be the biggest advocates that we can in the way that we can. So we're heard, so they're heard. So yeah, CB4 directly, and I'm sure a few more community boards will probably jump along at some point too, especially if we get the ground rolling with this. So, yeah. Okay, is Marissa here from Department of Sanitation? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, so thank you for joining us, Marissa. She's going to be speaking to us today on the start of the commercial waste zoning program for our district. I'm gonna turn the time over to her to let her present, and then we will have questions and comments from the community board and then go to those in the public. And we will go for there. Thank you again for joining us tonight, and thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Marissa Yanni. I am the Manhattan Community Affairs Liaison for the Department of Sanitation, here to just talk about commercial waste zones, and I promise it won't take up too much of your time. So for those that don't know, there's a lot of garbage in New York City and a lot of it that comes from businesses all over the 5 boroughs. So previously, there was absolutely no structure. Any business in the city could hire whatever private carter they wanted, and there were dozens upon dozens, hundreds of private carters that operate in the city. So back in November 2019, law was passed from the city council to transition over to commercial waste zones. This is going to divide the city into 20 separate zones where private carters would bid to provide service in those specific zones. That part is passed, of course, and there will be each zone will have 3 carters that can operate within that zone. And then we're gonna have some citywide carters that's gonna provide service for loading docks and larger dumpsters and compactors. So think of really, really big businesses for that. Not necessarily mom and pop shops would choose one of those 5. So not too many maybe in Manhattan. I don't know how many loading docks we actually have in Manhattan. So some benefits to commercial waste zones, of course, competitive bidding to prevent overpricing, transparent pricing. We have discounted rates for recycling and organics, which would actually affect restaurants. We're gonna have some stricter customer service standards, increased training, and greater operational efficiency. Part that I like the most, we're gonna have some less commercial traffic, way less trucks on the streets, safer and quieter streets, hopefully some improved air quality, and higher diversion rates for recycling organics because we're providing that discount. There's a big citywide rollout. We hope it to be done by 2027. As you can see, you all fall in phase 5 in Midtown South. I don't know, maybe not. I think your district only falls in Midtown South. I'm not sure if you also would fall in Midtown North, just because of the way District CB5 is set up. But I'm here to talk to you today. I promise I won't come back to you for phase 10 because you'll know everything by then. And everything that I'm talking about is on our website, nyc.gov/CWZ. So if you need to look up anything, I'm also happy to put it in the chat, but you all are sitting there, so it may not be necessary. This is just give you an idea of what those 20 white waste zones are. Here, we're talking about Midtown South. And again, and part of me thinks you guys must have a little bit of Midtown North as well. And Staten Island is one, in case you're curious. So important dates for you, and your rollout is the same time as Staten Island. Businesses can sign up from July 1st to August 31st, and all contracts between the carter and the businesses must be signed by August 31st. If a business doesn't sign a contract to be effective September 1st, they will be assigned a carter by us, DSNY, and whatever kind of rate and frequency that we want. Pretty much going to be the maximum allowable rate and the minimum allowable pickup frequency. So it's really recommended that they actually do this themselves before they just get a bad contract from us. There's a few ways that they can comply, of course. 1, evaluate, figure out how much waste you have. A restaurant's gonna have way more waste than a jewelry store. Identify, find your zone, obviously Midtown South. But again, you can go on our website and you could see, sorry, you can't see my finger pointing, but you could see, enter the business address and determine what zone. Again, I think Midtown North and South might be an issue for your district, for the folks in your district. You can use our calculator, which is again on our website, to help figure out what kind of price you would need and how much waste and frequency, how much waste you generate, and then how much frequency of a pickup you think you need. May not need pickup every single day, or if you're a pretty big store, you might need it as often as possible. Negotiate, make sure you negotiate with any of those 3 private carters. You can talk to all 3 of them and see who you want to come actually pick up your garbage. You're not beholden to just one. You can reach out to all 3 and kind of compare and negotiate as best that you want. Then, of course, review the contract. You should always read the contract before you sign it, and then sign it. Evaluate, identify, compare, negotiate, sign. We repeat ourselves a lot. When you finally sign that contract, you're going to get a green carter decal. Currently, the carter decals are orange. This is how we'll know who is part of the new zone that we actually roll out. This has to be displayed in the window. I'm sure you've seen that already, the little orange sticker on all the windows. There's some property owners contract with larger buildings. So if you're in a building, I don't know, unless you own a building here or own a business. If you're in a big building and you're one of like 5 businesses, you may already be giving your garbage to the building, right? As part of their carting system and as part of their waste system. Just make sure you figure out where your garbage goes, if you're handling it yourself or if you've already been giving it over to the building itself to handle. Just be sure. There's only limited exceptions to this rule. One being city managed properties and nonprofits. So they wouldn't have to follow this rule. They would still get, they already get DSMY service. And then professional offices in residential buildings. So that's like your lawyers and maybe some medical doctors and some dentists and whatnot. They could actually, they would just have to pay a fee for DSMY service. Containerization and set out has not changed. You got to make sure you containerize your garbage and the organics. Recycling can go out in clear plastic bags. Make sure everything's out after 8 p.m. or an hour before closing. Of course, we have some resources. This is what the resources look like. Any questions? I'm going to X out just so I can see you all. But if there's anything you want me to put in the chat, please do say so. I'll put the website in the chat for now.
Yeah, I think yeah, please put that in there. I do believe that I just sent it out, but I want to make sure I got the right one sent out. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you. Sorry. Marissa, my name is Kevin, and thank you for your presentation. I have a couple of clarifying questions. What is the date that you mentioned that the city would stop picking up the commercial trash and the contractor would pick it up for Midtown North and Midtown South?
Oh, sorry. Hold on one second. So we don't pick up any of their trash, right? We've never picked up garbage from commercial.
Okay, that's where it was kind of missing. Okay.
No, that's okay.
So what is the change in what is the difference that's happening now? Maybe I'm not tracking that.
Oh, that's okay. Their Carter is completely changing, right? So you went from having, you could choose any Carter you want right now, right? And let's say you're in Midtown South and you have, I'll make it up, Kevin's Carting, right? Well, Kevin, you didn't earn an contract. You didn't win the RFP, right? You didn't win the bid. You cannot operate in Midtown South. So their only options now are, oh crap, where'd it go? For Midtown South is Action, Cogent, or Waste Connections. Those are the only options they have. But from July 1st to August 31st, and this is not just me doing this meeting is not the only outreach we're doing, right? This is the bare minimum that we're doing. We just want to make sure the community boards know, because we talk with you all the most. We have outreach workers from the Bureau of Commercial Waste going door to door, making phone calls to every single business in your district to tell them about this. So they have from July 1st to August 31st, so 2 months, to reach out to their new Carters. If it's a new Carter, maybe they already have Action. Action is one of the biggest ones we have in the city, and sign a new contract. That's literally it. And if they don't do it by August 31st to get ready for September 1st, then we're just going to give them one.
Got it. So if I may, on a follow-up, if they don't do it and you just assign them one, there won't be any interruption in their service in terms of pickup of waste, correct?
No, there really wouldn't be. The goal is that there wouldn't be, right? From July to the end of August, they're supposed to figure that out. They have to cancel whatever they have if it's not with one of those three. And then if we're assigning it, then we're telling that private Carter, hey, you didn't hear back from Kevin's Deli, but start picking up their garbage. If you, Kevin's Deli, didn't stop that other, then you're paying for 2 different Carters. Again, this is all on you. Because we're going door to door. We're coming at you. You should know that this is coming. And we're doing a mailer.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Is this going to, on average, cost businesses more money or less money?
It's supposed to cost them less money, or at least be competitive pricing. No one can really, like, the 3 Carters that we have, one guy can't charge you $20 for service and someone else charge you $2,000, right? They're not supposed to go really, really low or really, really high. They're supposed to be pretty much as even as possible and as fair as possible. So I don't know if it's going to cost you more or less. I don't know if you had a completely different Kevin's Carting and he didn't charge much and he was a smaller organization, a smaller carting company. So I can't say for sure, but I think the goal is for it to be a bit better.
But so the goal, the whole purpose of this is to make it more efficient. But by making it more efficient.
So I'm saying we don't want to put that much of a burden on businesses. That's not the main goal of the legislation, is to make it worse for businesses. We don't want businesses to close, but we do want to rein in those private Carters. And we don't need 16 different trucks on the same block on 42nd Street, 45th Street going up and down for the businesses when you could just have one truck.
Sure, but you're also reducing competition.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Tom, you were next.
So Mercy, this is strictly for commercial operations, correct?
Yeah,
So you alluded to, but I don't think you said too much about what happens with residential buildings that have commercial tenants.
Residential, 1 second. No, Oh, so if you are what's the word I'm looking for? 1 second, I'm looking for that word. If you are a professional office, like a lawyer or whatever, in a residential building, that's different. So if you're a lawyer that works on the bottom floor of a residential building, you could come to DSNY and for a small, I'm gonna say small fee, but let's say a fee, you could pay DSNY to pick up the garbage.
What about stores that are in residential buildings?
No, if you're a store, that means you're a commercial business.
So if you had made a reference to stores that were including their garbage in the residential buildings garbage, they would have to break out their garbage and enter separate contracts. Is that my understanding?
Hold on 1 second, because they added this new to this presentation and no one told me anything about it. So that's not completely clear if the building that the commercial business is in is residential or if it's a commercial building. Because I'm up to the slide that you're talking about. That we would have to take that on a case by case. And that I would have to see. If the business already puts their garbage with the building, then they just have to, then they might not be on our list, right? We might only have that business, the actual big building on our list. Or then we just need to check in with them and they just have to make sure they're listed as being that their garbage is going to be taken with that of the building. But it doesn't specifically say that it's a residential building. So something tells me it's only for larger commercial buildings. But again, I just don't have that in front of me right now. I have to look it up for you.
You have a list of buildings that are supposed to be part of this program. And
do I have it? No.
But there is a list. And you
oh, yeah.
And buildings that are not on the list, you're probably, at least for now, not paying much attention to. Is that would be
right? If they're not on the list, then then we're assuming it's a residential building. Correct.
Got it.
Michael.
Yeah, a great presentation. I want to make sure there's 20 zones in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
Each zone is assigned 3 different carting companies to take care of the waste in that area.
Right.
And some companies are much larger than others. They have more trucks, more employees. So you've assigned them, just tell me if I'm wrong on any of more spaces to fill, more customers to take on because they're able to take more on. And each customer that they are taking out, if it's a restaurant generating much more or a jewelry store generating much less, is supposedly charged by the volume of garbage that they produce daily, weekly, monthly. And who's telling these 3 guys assigned to zone number 6A that this is the fair amount that you can charge? Who's telling them that they can't get together in a bar sometime and say, hey, let's fix the prices. We could charge more. It's only between the 2 of us, the 3 of us. Let us sit down and figure out a way where we can make a lot more money. Who's going to make sure that that doesn't happen?
The city, us. We have a Bureau of Commercial Waste, and the contracts team does all that. So they put out the RFP, the RFP for the bid. Excuse me. They put out that RFP. They spoke with all the haulers. They spoke with all the carters, everyone that put a bid in. And they're the ones that assigned assigned the contract to them. So if they're in breach of that contract, and if they do get together and do that, then they wouldn't be in breach of that contract. And I'm pretty sure then we could take that contract away from them. But I would have to ask the other team about that specifically. But I'm sure there's going to be repercussions. And again, if you lose one of these zones, someone else can take it. Like, some of these private carters might have to go out of business if they didn't get one of these zones, right? And you could renew the contract for X number of years, and think up to like 20 years, they could be working in one zone. So you're not going to wait 20 years to get your foot back in the private carter hauling game.
And are the recipients of this service aware that there is somebody to go to if they feel that they are being overcharged or misrepresented or whatever? Is there a complaint board? Is there somebody to go back to?
Complaint board, no, I don't know about that, but there is a form that you could fill out that goes to the Bureau of Commercial Waste team. I haven't heard yet of how they've been handling complaints. Don't know how many we've had. We've only rolled out to 4 other zones. At this point, I haven't heard of any complaints yet, but I can check in with the team. I'm gonna go visit them tomorrow anyway. So we could see where complaints have been going. But I haven't heard of we haven't all been up in arms here because there's like thousands of complaints coming in yet.
Yeah, it'd be
Probably by
good
2027.
if you could give our board office that information, just so if we do get public complaints or whatnot, and they're asking what to do and how to go about it, since this starts next week on July 1st, that'd be great if you could just share that with the office.
Well, it
when you
starts
can.
in September, but yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yes. Don't complain to me next week, because I have nothing started yet.
Yeah. Got it. Another question from.
This is kind of piggybacking on what was just said, but I know that you mentioned that there was a list of certain criteria for the bids in the RFP, and you guys chose the ones who met all of the criteria. Are you sharing those criterias with all of the commercial buildings? So when they enter their individual contracts, they can make sure that they're getting all the services that were promised in the bid? And is there a oversight process in place with DSNY so that you guys can ensure that the promise of the RFP is being fulfilled?
So no, I don't know if we're giving out the criteria to them. It could be in the new contract that they're signing. And again, that oversight would be the contracts team, as well as the Business Integrity Commission. You could also complain to them, which is a separate city agency.
Did that answer your question, Pearl? Did you have a follow?
Probably, but
Okay.
I'm good for a while.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think it would be possible because if this is starting in September, roughly 6 months after that would be about March. Do you think it'd be possible to plan to come back to our committee in March, specifically to report on any potential questions, comments, complaints that you have maybe fielded, and we can also be prepared to kind of report on our side? I think that would be good because this is something new, to be able to check back in 6 months. That'll hopefully be enough time to get the kinks out.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. Kevin?
Yeah, just as a point of information, each city agency has an inspector general.
Okay.
And I'm on the website right now, and the sanitation they have the individual's name, their email address, their phone number. That'd probably be where, you would lodge the complaint.
Yeah. Perfect. Any other questions, comments? Any other questions or comments from anything else sanitation that we're not opening up anything here, but if there's anything else, Marisa can answer. I know that she was able to do that for us. Okay, I'll turn to the public. Is there anybody in the public that wanted to make a comment or has a question? Absolutely. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Charles, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can speak.
Yes, hello. I'd like to ask how many companies actually were bidding for contracts, and why did these 3 win? What was so great about them compared to the others? Are they also existing companies that have been working the city for years, or are these newcomers? How long are the contracts for? And I was just wondering, are they actually are the owners actually based here in the States, in New York City, or are they from other states or abroad? And I was just wondering, is this type of information, the whole bidding process, would that come under FOIL, or would that not come under FOIL if members of the public wanted to FOIL? And last question is, how are they disposing the waste? Is it going to the same facilities that you guys use, or is it going somewhere completely different?
So you could foil anything. I don't know what answer you're gonna get, but you could foil anything you want in the city of New York, and it's up to that agency and the lawyers to decide what they're gonna tell you. But 100%, you could foil something like this. No, I don't have the criteria in front of me. I'm not on the contracts team, so I don't know why these three were better than the others. They are all companies that have already existed and worked in New York City. I think that was one of the criteria, that they had to be already based in New York City and have done work in New York City before. You asked, hold on, a few questions. Yeah, they bring their garbage. I think they bring them where we bring them, although we bring it to our own sites. So can't say off the top of my head where they bring them. I guess you'll have to foil for that question, or wait for me to look it up and get it back to you.
And I think one more question was, I know the contracts aren't done, but Charles asked, what's the length of the term of the contracts for the companies?
Oh, it could go on. I lost those talking points. It could go on. They can do it for like 5 years and then keep renewing it like 5 more times after that.
Okay.
So they could work like 20 to 25 years for a contract.
Charles, did that answer everything?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anything else from committee members? No? Okay, well, thank you, Marissa, for coming. We appreciate you coming, and yeah, if you can just continue to share the information with our office so we can help out in our community as well. And if you come up with any of the answers to some of the questions we weren't able to answer tonight, then we're happy to get those in any form if you also want to send those along when you have them.
All right, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, now we're gonna end Melissa and Marissa and just go into committee business. And do I need to stay live for that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did?
Your personnel.
Oh, no. David went off on Monday, so that's why I was wondering if on transportation he went off. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're just gonna talk about some new business and go over the upcoming things. So as I already said, I'm stepping down for personal reasons. Thank you for letting me be chair. Melissa's gonna be great. I'm so happy that she stepped up to vice chair when I asked her, and now is stepping up to chair. And very, very thankful for Yaron to also be stepping in. I've decided not to leave the community board as a whole, so I will still be here and I'll still be helping along with the transition and absolutely staying on this committee as well. So thank you all, old and new. And yeah, so I'll turn it over to Melissa so she can talk about some upcoming things on the agendas.
Thanks, Tiffany, and thanks so much for everything that you've done for this committee. I think we've chatted through, at the top of the meeting, what the priorities are kind of upcoming and the perspective that we're taking in terms of really focusing again and targeting priority kind of policies that we want to dig into and implementation and kind of actions associated with those policies once they go into practice. The only other thing I'll say kind of around that approach and how we'll be spending time over the next year that we're thinking about is that if there are still, other topics that you all are interested in that fall within the kind of umbrella of city services, quality of life, public safety, we will continue seeing those as they come up and are prioritized within the board or as we become aware of them. But also, again, always looking for and want to bring to this committee for discussion any topics that you all want to bring to this committee and want to discuss. So those things will continue to be addressed here. We'll just have kind of a priority area that we're digging into at any given time as well.
And we're still kind of staying in those 3 buckets because that's kind of what everything went into in general. So the economic recovery, homeless and health services, and then public safety. Are you going to assign people into those still, or just kind of assign people to assist with different topics as they come up?
I think
just so they know the change, since we did it one way, I just wanted to know the difference.
Yeah, I think we'll be shifting more towards focusing on the priority areas. So we may not have folks assigned to specific subcommittees anymore, but I think to your point, they'll continue to be our kind of priorities that we're looking at, or the priority, topic areas.
Absolutely. And it is just this last year, I want to say it is so helpful when any of you brings a concern or a question or something to the table. We meet with the board all the time and we get the information of what's come in as far as complaints or as far as different services trying to reach out. And so there's a lot of communication and we don't want that to lack within the members of the committee too, because we're here to help our district and be their voice. So anything that falls within this committee, please share. Anything else? David?
Yeah, I've been on this board for 2 years now, and there's been issues that have been important and big and exciting to work on, and getting City of Yes, getting Midtown South, and I think of a handful of others. I guess as I get renewed for my 2 years here and do my second 2 years, I would like to be able to come into these meetings and vote on actionable resolutions and really maybe form as a committee here 1 or 2 major things that we should be really attacking on a monthly basis. Like, I appreciate getting kind of the heads up from sanitation and from other nonprofits, but I'm not here for an information session. I'm here to do resolutions, to push our electeds to make changes to the city. And so what I would like to see in my next 2 years on the board here is us to do actionable things in this committee that get brought to the board and that become resolutions and that go to electeds and that have some positive change for the city. So, there's a number of issues that I see that are big picture issues that we should be focused on. I'm more than happy to have that discussion about what we should be spending our time and energy on, but we really should be crafting resolutions and pushing this because that's the little power that we actually have. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that, David. I think the drive to action around having resolutions is largely what we're trying to do with having these priority focus areas moving forward, and then having as a secondary kind of open agenda item, continuing to again see all of these presentations and other items that are needed as well. So I think we can definitely make time for that conversation, whether that's, again, if you want to send things on in advance so that we can prepare for the conversation in the next meeting, or if we want to dedicate time in the next agenda to specifically kind of sourcing and brainstorming within this committee what those primary topic areas are. I think open to doing that and helping provide perspective again as we're meeting with Marisa, with the board office, and understanding where those priority areas are. I think we have this sort of, set focus of the next couple meetings with this big topic that we're all aligned around for the next couple meetings. But in terms of moving forward, really identifying what those topics are that we want to continue to focus on, again, with that kind of action orientation towards resolutions, towards building things into our budget, considering what other types of actions we might be able to support, is how we want to move this forward. So thank you.
One other thing on the new business is back in October, we did send out a letter of support of what was called Writer's Law. It was intro 947, I think, 943, sorry. We as a board are going to send out a updated letter of support to everybody involved that we definitely support. If everybody's heard of the accident that happened on June 10th, Writer's Law is now, I don't want to say his name wrong, Ramanch, I believe. He was an 18-year-old teenager visiting from India with his family. The family was on the carriage and the horse spooked and ran off. carriage fell on the family. From the details, he was trying to help his mom from the fall, and he had a fatal injury to his head and he passed. And so we just want to send out a letter updated that we continue as CB5 supporting this law. So it's nothing to be voted on again. Just wanted to let you all know that that's going out as well. And last thing real quick, introductions. I didn't want to do this in the beginning because I didn't want to take other people's time. Oh, yes. Okay, well, you can say your new business when you introduce yourself. How about that?
Say that again.
You can introduce your new business when you
Sounds
introduce
good,
yourself.
sounds good.
So why don't you kick it off, Michael?
I could go.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Before we move on, as a new person,
Mhm.
which will come with the introduction, do we have any kind of shared documents where we share a growing document that prioritizes where we can vote upon issues that matter to us on the table, or something that's shareable that doesn't need a discussion, or could be like, everybody voted on this for
Be
something
very,
to that
the
extent?
the issue is that we have to do things here. If we start sending emails among the group, we run afoul of open meeting law, and you'll get yelled at by the powers that be.
So that was my follow-up question.
Oh,
Our
okay.
means of communication as a team
Yes.
how is the best way for us to communicate?
Melissa, go ahead and answer that since you're gonna chair and you're in charge of this committee. Sorry to put you on the spot, but you're the one that needs to answer this one.
Sure. So I think, let me get back to you all in terms of, to David's point on open meeting law, what the bounds of where we can communicate are. I think I would like to see more of a shared folder that we can all, have reference to what are we talking about, what are our agenda items, anything that is being proposed is then being shared out broadly, things like that. Let me get back to you all on what the bounds of what we can and can't do within this meeting versus asynchronously are.
So one of the things that like transportation does, David does, is there's a shared document that has all of the topics, like agendas and topics and things like that. And that is a shared file that is able to do. So if that is something, Melissa, that you decided to do, you and Ron, like make a list of priorities and things like that, that can be shared amongst the committee. Kevin?
Yeah, I agree with what you just suggested, and I like the idea, Melissa, of a shared doc. But if we could just have someone from the city of New York, the corporation counsel, a lawyer, actually attend one of these meetings, maybe even the full board meeting, and just tell us, this is what you can and this is what you cannot do. I don't really want to hear it from anyone else. I
Yeah.
want to hear it from the appropriate ethics office of the city of New York. Because people have their own interpretations of what's allowable and what isn't. And I'm not really interested in your interpretation. I'm interested in knowing what the actual law is. And I want to hear that from the source.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Talk to Marisa and see if that's possible, because every committee should
Yeah.
hear this. The
Yeah.
whole board should hear
We
this.
should all know.
Yelled at many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like, it's always a gray area and we should
There
just,
should be,
Yeah.
law.
No, you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
whatever the law says.
It should be part of our
Yeah.
orientation, which Josh's orientation packet was amazing. What you guys got? Oh my gosh. Okay, anyone need business before we say our names and say goodbye? Okay, Michael.
Okay, yeah, so, my name is Michael Kabak, and I joined the community board about 8 years ago, something like that, 6 or 8 years, I don't remember, long time. And I love it. It's just a place to learn about New York City, and I'm a big sponge if it's about New York. This is the greatest place to learn about it. And not only that, you get an opportunity to share your thoughts with other like-minded people. So it's a great place. Did a good thing to come to join. I am a tour guide. I take people on tours in Manhattan. I've been doing it for 30 years now, almost, and I love it. And I love to share my enthusiasm and knowledge of New York City with people who like-minded, who want to learn about the city as well. And I find that that it makes me whole. It's a good thing for me. So I would like to share with you the next 2 free tours that will be offered. And they happen to be on July 5th and 6th, that's Sunday and Monday. On the 5th, the tours of the Flatiron District. Flatiron District has a ton of history. Winston Churchill's mother used to live on the corner of the park there on Madison Square. Madison Square Garden, the first 2 iterations were right there. And these are stuff that I share with people. Jeff Bezos, who lives on the top, who has 3 triplex on the top of 212 Fifth Avenue, stuff, that you're going to enjoy listening to. And I disperse it with humor and stories. So welcome. You don't have to call in, just show up at the Flatiron Building on Sunday at 10:55. We start at 11, and I guarantee, as a matter of fact, I can tell you right here and now, if you don't enjoy it, I will give you double your money back. Okay? Double. Okay, and the other tour, also the same thing goes. It meets at the Garment Worker statue in front of 1411 Broadway. And I'll share with you my experiences after 66 years in the garment industry, where I'm still there doing tours and talking to people about it. And that tour is on, the next tour there is on the Monday at 10:30. So a few minutes early if you show up. I'd love to see you there. I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
Absolutely.
Next.
Go ahead, Ken.
Hi, I'm Kevin Thompson. I think I met most of the new folks at the last board meeting, but nice to see you all again. Welcome.
I'm Tom Huser, and I'm a new board member.
I'm Natalie Chen, and I'm also a new board.
David Shapiro, I've been a board member for 2 years, just got reappointed for another 2. Now I know how the whole thing works.
It takes a while.
It took me a long time.
Kelly Schrader, new board member.
Carl Lynn, also new board member, excited to figure out and get acclimated to all of the nuances.
It works.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Chua, and I'm also a new board member.
Chris Ahern, also new.
Oh, Will Rothschild, I've been on the board for about a year on this and the transportation committee, and excited to have the new members on, and I hope that we can do a lot in this committee to help folks that similar to the ones that came to speak today.
Online, we got Chris. Want to talk, Chris?
Hey, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. These headphones are,
Yeah.
have been terrible. I'm Chris Bell. I am in New York City. Work for a nonprofit, just like the other Chris. Yeah, excited to be here.
Great. And Melissa?
I'm Melissa. I'm excited to meet you all in person soon. Hopefully at the social event.
Yeah. And again, I'm Tiffany Revis. I've been on the board for 4 years. I love it. I love trying to be a voice for our community. I lived in this area specifically for over 10 years now. I'm a trauma surgeon, and I see a lot of things, and I see a lot of things different than what I would hope for where we live. And I've seen a lot of changes in the 10 years, and it really got me motivated to want to be a part of a voluntary board and try to make a difference. So hope you feel worth it, like that it's worth your time. It's worth what you put in it. And yeah, just excited for new people. We always like to have. All right. Anything else, Melissa? Good.
Thanks, all.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.